Glad to have you with us here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here, and it is time for our third Seattle Seahawks mock draft. And here's a couple things to note on this mock draft, folks. Number one, this is our post-combine mock draft. Number two, this is our last mock draft before NFL free agency begins next week. And then number three, folks, this mock draft we're bringing you is our very first 7-round mock draft. We'll go over every single pick. So plenty to get to. Glad to have you guys here. Before we go any further in today's show, we are doing a new sub-battle from now until the draft begins. We want to see between some NFC rivals of other channels, the 49ers report and the Cowboys report, who can gain the most subscribers? Right now, everybody's tied at 0. We're starting from scratch. Who can gain the most new subs from now until the draft? Let's see if we can make it happen for daily Seahawks coverage, news and rumors, live shows twice a week. We're talking free agency, draft, trades, and more. You got to subscribe to the channel. Let's win this sub battle from now until the draft right here on the channel. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get you our first 7-round mock draft, our third mock draft of the offseason, and this comes after the NFL Draft Scouting Combine. Let's kind of set the scene for you here of how things look for Seattle heading into the draft. These are the draft picks for the Hawks. They pick at 18, 50, 82, and 136. And then they also pick at 171, 183, 210, and 234. The outlook for Seattle. Here's some things that you need to know as far as the outlook goes. This is Mike Macdonald's second season as the Seahawks head coach. They enter the offseason with about $13.46 million in cap space, and they have some needs they need to address from offensive tackle, interior, edge, corner, linebacker, quarterback, tight end, and wide receiver. Are there enough picks to fill all their needs? That remains to be seen. Now, the way we've done this is we've gone to the Pro Football Focus simulator, and PFF has made all the picks for the other 31 teams, and then I get to be John Schneider and make the picks for Seattle. So, for the first pick, here are the last 5 picks that were taken. Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia, went to Miami at 13. Mike Green, the edge rusher from Marshall, went to the Colts at 14. Jahad Campbell, the linebacker from Bama, went to Atlanta at 15. Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle from Michigan, went to Arizona at 16. And Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Mississippi, went to Cincinnati at 17. So who does that leave us with? The best available at 18 includes Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas, Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from The Ohio State, Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon, and Emeka Ibuka, the wide receiver from Ohio State. So with that, the pick is in. Dun, 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 dun. With the 18th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Texas offensive guard Kelvin Banks Jr., and I got to tell you, I'm really excited about this pick of Kelvin Banks Jr. Let's go ahead and tell you why. This is the second straight mock draft that we've taken Kelvin Banks with the Seahawks' 18th overall pick. If he's available, still there, and granted, I would be surprised if he's still there, but if he is, I can't pass up on him. Won all the awards this year, the Outland, the Lombardi, the Jacobs Blocking Award, unanimous All-American, first-team All-SEC, and he did it all. He was very good when it came to his overall grade of 85.0, his pass block grade of 88.2, his run block grade of 80.9, and he made a smooth transition from the Big 12 to the SEC this past season. His scouting report, he's got smooth footwork. He's got the moves like Jagger. He's patient, and he also can be trusted in space. He's got desired agility out of his stance, consistent initial point of attack. He leans too much in pass pro. And I'll say this. I know what some of you may be thinking right away. A tackle? We could Trolls Cross and Abraham Lucas. I'll find a way to get Kelvin Banks on my starting line. Some people think he might be a guard. Maybe I move Abraham Lucas to guard. whatever it may be, the job of John Schneider and this offensive staff is going to be to get the best 5 out there, to play positionless, basically. I'll find a way to make it work with Kelvin Banks and Abraham Lucas. We're going to be fine. Should the Seahawks draft Kelvin Banks? Type S for select, P for pass. Give me your choice and let us know what you would go with here. All right, so now we move to the second round here. And here's who's available at 50. We can go with Braden Swinson, the edge rusher from LSU. We can go Jaden Higgins, the wide receiver from Iowa State. Kim Scadaboo, running back from Arizona State. We can go JTT, edge rusher from Ohio State. Or we can go linebacker with Carson Schwinsger. And with that said, the pick is in. Dun, 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 with the 50th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select JTT, edge rusher from The Ohio State. This guy was a man among boys this season and really his entire career at Ohio State. He was pivotal in the Buckeyes' national championship run this past season, a 3-time first-team All-Big Ten selection. With Seattle likely moving on from Draymond Jones, potentially Uchenna Nwosu, they're going to need some pass rushers. And JTT can come in and be an immediate impact guy right away. Last season, 12.5 sacks, 51 pressures, 2 forced fumbles. Year prior to that, 5 sacks, 3.5, 2.5. You can see he got better each and every year he was in the Big Ten Conference. Good size and frame. He looks the part of an edge rusher in the National Football League. He's got impressive upper body strength, has the ability to shed blockers, which is obviously very important in his position. Solid spin move. He does lack a bit of bend and balance, but I think that can be worked on. I think it would be a great pick for Seattle if they can get him there in the second round. Should the Seahawks draft JTT? What do you guys think? You got 2 options here. You can type Y for yes, in for no. Let me know who you would pick there in the second round if you go JTT or not. We skip ahead to the third round now, the 82nd overall pick, and we're going quarterback here. The Seattle Seahawks select Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel at 82nd overall. Dillon Gabriel, I've watched a ton of Dillon Gabriel football. All right, I saw his entire season at Oregon, saw his 2 seasons at Oklahoma, and prior to that at UCF. Dillon Gabriel, I got to tell you, I like Dillon Gabriel a lot for a number of reasons. First-team All-American, Big Ten MVP, and Offensive Player of the Year this past season with the Oregon Ducks. They were undefeated in the regular season, won a Big Ten title, went to the Rose Bowl. Dillon Gabriel was fantastic. And you look at what he's done. It hasn't mattered who the head coach was, who the talent around him was. Dillon Gabriel has been a winner. He has been a game maker. He's been a playmaker. He's been able to do it all. And that's even with not necessarily having the best body, right? He's been banged up from time to time. He doesn't necessarily have great arm strength, but he makes do with what he has. It kind of reminds me, folks, of a name that Seahawk fans are going to like hearing this. Reminds me of Russell Wilson, is what I see when I see Dillon Gabriel. And you pick him in the third round potentially. That also sounds similar to Russ in that sense. And not to mention, he's moved around different schools like Russ did as well, finished his career at Wisconsin. I think you'd be very pleased. Although he doesn't have the strongest arm, he's got good athleticism. He's an incredible leader. I think back to the Red River Shootout last season. Oklahoma, they need a drive. They need Dillon Gabriel to come through. And he leads a grown man drive down the field against the almighty Texas defense. Nobody gave Oklahoma a chance in that game. Said that they couldn't beat Texas, that Texas was the far superior team. They just got blown out by them the previous year, 45-0. And Dillon Gabriel leads a game-winning drive, finds Nick Anderson open in the end zone, leads them to victory. And he's been well-liked, well-respected everywhere he's been. He came into Oregon as a veteran. Lots of college experience. I mean, he started more games than any other quarterback in the history of college football. And what did he do? He came in like he'd been there the entire time. That team rallied around him, and it wasn't the first time he had done that. He wins with timing and rhythm, which that's stuff that you can't necessarily teach. He's got that natural instinct, but he does have our average arm talent. All right? You're not going to be asking Dillon Gabriel to throw 75 and 80-yard bombs. That's just not going to happen. But he's going to get it in those tight windows, and he's going to be very accurate, and he's going to be able to use his legs. What do you think about Dillon Gabriel? Should the Hawks draft Dillon Gabriel? Type HY for hell yes, HN for hell no. I like the idea. As a day 3 or later pick, what do you guys think? Chime in the comments section. Seahawk hats are on sale now for 50% off. Wool supplies last. We have the baseball cap style. We have the flat bill version. All sorts of hats, just like the ones you're seeing on your screen now. And we have others available at the same place, chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. Go see for yourself at chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. We also have other Seahawks merchandise available for you as well. Check it out today. Chatsports.com/Seahawks hats. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Let's go through the rest of the mock draft, the other picks. We're going to go to the pick at 137. That's where we find Oklahoma safety Billy Bowman Jr., a former teammate of Dillon Gabriel's at OU. Billy Bowman, a heck of an athlete. And you talk about leaders, Billy Bowman is that guy as well, a do-everything safety. Seattle, you got Julian Love, you got Kobe Bryant, but I think you need some more depth there. And Mike McDonald wants the ability to play 3 safeties. Billy Bowman could give Seattle that flexibility to do that. Then we go to 173. We get some offensive line help. Again, the second offensive lineman we take, we go with USC center Jonah Monheim at 173. And this provides some competition for Olu. You get some more depth at that position as well. Makes a ton of sense. Then we go to 186, and we take Dillon Gabriel's teammate, another former teammate of Dillon Gabriel's. It's like the Dillon Gabriel's draft here. We go with Oregon offensive tackle Ajani Cornelius at 186 there, and this guy's a big dude. I can tell you that much, and obviously played in the Pacific Northwest would be a natural fit there. I think that's a good find for him at 186. We go to 212. Tight end, obviously, something that Seattle's going to look at. And we didn't necessarily prioritize that in this draft because Loveland and Warren were not available when we picked at 18. I know we had to wait for this here, but this is somebody that's seen his stock potentially move up a bit. He impressed over the last few weeks. Watch out there. And then our final pick, we're going with Theo Wease, who also played at Oklahoma, believe it or not. Finished his career with the Mizzou Tigers. He looked a little slow at the combine, all right? But he does have good hands. I don't need him to run a 4.2 out there. I just need him to get open and bring in those targets, and he can do that. I don't think it's a bad pick for the 7th round. Potential some good value there with Theo Wease at 236. Who is a player the Hawks should draft? Give me a name that comes to mind that you would like to see in Seattle. Or in that comment section, let us know who you think would be a good fit. Doesn't matter if it's first-round pick or if it's the very last pick in the draft. Give me a name you want to see with the Hawks. So to recap, here is mock draft 3.0 results. We went with Kelvin Banks in the first round, and I really love the pick. It's very rare I go with the same pick twice in back-to-back mock drafts, but he was there again. I couldn't say no. We go JTT. We get our edge rusher we're looking for. Young pass rusher that has a very successful resume, that's ready to compete at a high level. 82, we get our quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, and we may have found our quarterback of the future in the process as well. Sit him behind Geno, no rush to play him, and let's see what he could potentially do if he gets the opportunity. Then we go safety. We go Billy Bowman out of Oklahoma. Just an incredible athlete, a great teammate, great leader, and we get some flexibility at the safety spot. 173, we go with Jonah Monheim, the center from USC. 186, We get a teammate of Gabriel, Ajani Cornelius, the offensive tackle from Oregon. 212, we get our tight end help, although we waited a bit on Gadsden the second, and then we wrap up the draft with Theo Wease, the wide receiver from Mizzou. So, with that, my third mock draft. How did I do? Grade my mock draft A, B, C, D, or F. Anything less than an A, and you are a hater. What did you guys think? How did I do? Give me your grades in the comments section below. Appreciate you joining us here on Seahawks Today for continuing off-season and draft coverage. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.